Having seen how we work with return statements in a previous video, we're going to talk about another very important thing in functions called we're going to look at variables actually, and I'm going to be talking about local variables and global variables. Okay, now local variables are those type of variables that are defined within the function and can be used only inside that particular function, but a global variable is a variable that you declare outside the function. Now mind you that any variable declared inside the function can only be used inside the function. You cannot use a variable inside the function outside a function unless you declare it as a global variable. Okay, now I will quickly save this. Let's see what I'm talking about. Let me do a save as. Now I'll call this function 2 and I'll save it so that I will have a nice looking environment. Now I'll use a function. Let me quickly write a function, but before I do that, I'll call on a variable. Now let's say variable foo is equal to I love my pet. Okay, now let's define a function and say our function name is okay, let's just say love, and inside love we have no arguments. Let's just do it like that, and then we have we want to declare a variable in the statement area called foo as well, and set this to this is me. Let's say this is me. Okay, now let's just leave it that way, and let's echo, okay, rather let's echo pet. Let's echo foo and see what we're going to get. So turn to my browser, functions2 .php, and you see I love my pet. Now it echoed the variable that is on top outside the function. That is to say, the variable inside the function can only be used to do things that relates to the function. Okay, now this will only be echoed out if you call on this function. Now if we decide to define foo here, that means you can say echo love. The foo here was substituted for the foo here, and what was here was echoed out. Okay, so now if you want this to act as a global variable, you will assign it globally by using the global superglobal. Okay, you use a superglobal. It's actually an inbuilt PHP function, so it is being declared like this. You say global, and then you assign the variable to what you want to assign it to. So let's say foo is I hate you. Okay, so now when you call on your variable, let's say we call on foo, we want to echo that out. Okay, let's remove this from here, and let's call on the function first. Now let's call on love, then let's echo foo, and you see I hate you. Okay, so now without you assigning this as a global variable, you cannot use it outside the function like this. Okay, so if you want to use a variable inside a function outside a function, then you have to assign a global variable, or you have to assign it or change it to a global variable by assigning it globally using the global function. Okay, so that is how it works. In our next video, we'll be looking at default values